Okay, this is going over Git in our office hour and sort of the node modules, because this is a thing that I got a couple times this weekend, a couple of emails. So when we run npx create react app, what ends up happening is a whole bunch of stuff. It downloads all of our modules, creates our package JSON, creates our index.html that's in our public folder, creates all that stuff. But if we also were to navigate to our client or whatever we named our new application, if I type ls, it's going to show me public, it's going to show me source, it's going to show me a couple different files. Now there is these things called hidden files. So if I were to look at it and I said ls, and this is again from Mac, space dash a, what that's going to do is, because it's space dash a, that's going to show the hidden files. And so what we'll look at is whenever we go into that, because when we run create react app, it creates a new hidden Git file.
Okay.
We'll need to go ahead and remove that. And if you remember, it's just, we remove it the same way we remove node modules. It's rm
rm dash rf
rf space and then the folder name. So in this case, we'll do .git. Now what that'll do is that'll remove that. And so that is important, because if we have a parent folder or a folder above that, if we are just doing that specific assignment and we wanted that assignment to encompass not just our React stuff, because when we run create React app, it's just for that React folder. It's not the stuff outside of that folder.
Okay.
Right. But if we want that, either we have to run Git in it at the beginning, or if we want to put in a parent, we have to delete the .git file by doing rm space dash rf space and then .git. And then we go to our parent file and we can initialize. What that does is it prevents, if I've got this .git file that is created with npx create react app, then I navigate out to my folder because I'm creating some big project, and then I try to initialize a Git repository, that's where this error is going to happen. And it's going to say, hey, you've got a Git repository inside of another Git repository. That doesn't work.
Okay.
That's not okay. That's
Yeah.
not how we can do version control. And so all we have to do is delete that hidden file, that .git file. Once that's deleted, if you do ls space dash a, and you won't see the .git there anymore. Once that happens, you can go ahead and you can go navigate to whatever, if you wanted a big parent folder, or if you wanted, you know, just that specific sites or that specific assignments folder, then you can just do git init, and that's great. What the power of npx create react app is when we have already initialized a repository, whether we have, just like you're saying, Philip, we already have some folder that we've already initialized a repository, that .git hidden folder is already there. npx create react app will sort of follow up the tree of the folders and say, is there anything up here that already has this .git file, that got .git folder? If it does, it's going to say, cool, I don't need to create it. And if it doesn't, then I do need to go ahead and create it. So we'll just navigate to that folder. And then we will delete the Git, and then you go to your parent, run git init, and then moving forward, as long as you're within your parent, if you're making a new folder within that, anytime you run npx create react app, it's not, you don't have to worry about it. You kind of only have to do it one time.
Okay. All right. I'll give that a try later.
Yeah. Cool. I'm reading through the chat now. Yeah, Sarah. Oh, sorry. Just real quickly. Yeah, Sarah, that's exactly right. If we have a .git ignore file, and that's a great thing that npx create react app also creates for us, is if we want to push to GitHub, you actually don't have to worry about removing your node modules if you're pushing to GitHub, only because that git ignore file is going to say, hey, don't even add this. And so when you push it to GitHub, it's going to read that file and say, cool, I'm going to add in everything except for whatever's in this .git ignore file.
So I actually had a question kind of about that with the node modules. So what are you recommending us do when so I've found out how to exclude a file when zipping it up on Mac, but I couldn't figure out how to do that on Windows. So I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean like in your git ignore?
No, so when I'm zipping the file, so when I'm zipping it for submission, you don't want us to include the node modules, right?
Node modules, yeah.
Yeah. So I found on Mac, you can enter a command that says ignore these files or ignore this file
Sure.
if you zip it through the terminal. But I
Okay.
can't figure out how to do that with Windows. So what are you recommending we do to zip it?
I don't know anything on Windows. Transparently, I'm a Mac person as well, not a
Okay.
Windows guy. What I normally suggest students is you can go ahead and delete node modules. And I think that this is a kind of a
Okay.
point where people are causing a little bit of confusion. So happy to go over that. If we delete our node modules, that's okay, right? That's kind of everything we need to run this. But what we can do is whenever you do npx create react app, there's a package JSON file, right? And so what I can do, or even you, right? If you delete your node modules and then you want to go back and fix an assignment or expand on an assignment, all you have to do is navigate to the folder. So in this case, your client folder or whatever you call your React app, you'll navigate there. And then from there, you will just run npm install and it'll go. And when you run npm install, because that's our node package manager, it'll actually go into our package JSON and say, cool, what do I need in order for me to even run this? What are what we call dependencies? What do we need in order for it to run? And so as long as we have that, you can feel free to delete your node modules because you can always just run npm I on Windows or npm install, and then it'll re-download it. So that's usually what I tell people.
So sorry, Cameron, to zip everything without the node modules, you just highlight the folders you want to zip.
Yeah,
So if you
just don't include it.
Yeah, just don't include it in your highlight,
Oh,
and then you can
okay.
zip all the other files.
Silly
Okay, yeah,
Cameron.
I was trying to do it through the terminal or command line or something. Okay, that makes sense.
Sure.
All right, thank you. That
Mhm.
also works.
When you compress it like that, it'll save as archive. I'm not sure why, but you can change the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Anybody have any other questions? If not, I'll pause the recording just in case something else does come up. Anybody have any other questions for the office hour? Okay, I'm going to pause real fast.